Hello, everybody out there. We are on the air,
Radio.
and I'm here with Eric and Lisa LCO, and we're just happy that you guys are joining us again for another episode of Like It Is Now, and we're going to be talking about the Justice for Trayvon Martin, the case, Zimmerman, he's back in jail. He was arrested, then rearrested. He had the good fortune of getting bail, because the judge sympathized with him. But, he's back to his old tricks of lying. So, he can't get even the story together when the judge is on his side, empathizing with them. But he and his wife, they're just born they're liars. So we have Eric on the line. As you know, Eric is one of the administrators, and he's also the founder of this foundation, Keep It Striving. And we have LCO on the line. As you know, LCO, which is one of our strongest administrators, who's always getting at those trolls. So I'm just so happy that she's part of this team, because she knows how to beat those guys down. But so we're here. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Okay. So the latest thing that we've been talking about is George Zimmerman and his food budget while he's in jail. I guess he has nothing else to do, so basically he's just decided that he's just going to eat. And he's going to snack and eat, and what do you guys think about that? The guy.
Well, when you go into a form of depression, when you've done something, it begins to eat at you, and you decide to take food as a comfort at this point, because there's nothing else to comfort him. You cannot find comfort in anything from what you have done. Okay? And I think it's bothering him to a point where he just doesn't know what else to do but eat himself to death. Or, like I said, the food is just extremely nasty. And, they'll have the prisoners cook the food most of the time. They'll be doing cooking and cleanup. They know what floor or what level or what room that plate is going to. He doesn't know if they're spitting in his food, if they're putting anything in his food. So he's probably more likely scared to eat as well.
I agree. I know if I was in his position, I sure would be scared to eat the food.
For sure. But, what's really bothering me is I don't think he thinks he's done anything wrong.
Right.
That's what bothers me.
I totally agree with you, because the thing that always stands out in my mind is, I think it was his father. When his father started going public and acting up, he said, no, it was Joe Oliver. When he was having his 15 minutes of fame, he said that George Zimmerman thought that this would be over by now. Like he didn't understand why this is still going on. It's like, I just killed a black guy. Why are we still talking about this? It was just a black, you know what I mean? Like the attitude was like, like, why do people care so much? It was just a black kid. You know what I mean?
That's what I think surprised him. Yes, Paula, exactly. That's what I think surprised him the most, and everybody, that he didn't think anybody would care about Trayvon. And I had posted that on my page that I run. He didn't think anybody would care about this boy. It was just another nigga, was what he thought, and nobody was going to care about him or miss him.
Right.
And little did he know the whole world would come to care.
The whole world. The whole world.
Yeah.
And look at him now. Now he's sitting away, rotting away in jail, getting fat.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's like, I had posted an article on Tim Wise and how he was talking about the paranoia and people being raised a certain way to fear black men. And I think Zimmerman was in that category of being raised like that.
Right, I agree.
You know, don't hang out with them. Don't play with the little boy down the street. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't bring him to our house. And
right, only unless you're going to help them because, you know, they need help. So basically, you know, you could tutor them and, you know, because, you know, you're so much better than they are. So, you know, they just need our help, basically. You know, that's the general attitude that I get about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, we're not going to be friends with them. We're just here to help them. They're, you know, nobody cares about them, so we'll care about them. But that's it. We're not taking them home or anything like that. We're not going to be friends with them. We're just you know, showing them that we're not racist. We're better than that.
And you know, at this point, that type of paranoia has gotten him so far in over his head. Look at the situation he's in now.
It's a shame, you know. And this is my whole point, you know. You have to stop lying to your babies, you know, because look what it's done. Look what it's done. Not only is you've killed somebody, but your whole life is ruined. Your family's life is ruined. Mm-hmm. You know, lots of people, you know, are against you because of a mindset that you had that maybe he didn't have any control over. You know, it was just the way he was taught. But that kind of negative teaching, it backfired. Because now his life and his future is in peril. Okay, all his life, I'm sure he was growing up thinking he's better than everybody. We're better. Dad's a lawyer. Mom's a whatever. We're white. We're this. We're that. So he's growing up thinking this all along. And look what happened. Look at him now. He's sitting rotting in jail with the whole world hating him. Karma is bad. I tell you, karma, you can't mess with karma.
Well, the thing about it is, it doesn't matter what your parents teach you. It's about how you operate your life. And George is well above grown. He's 28 years old, so he should know what's right and what's wrong. So I don't blame him. I mean, I blame his parents to an extent, but I don't blame his parents all the way. What he did, he needs to take up accountability for his own actions. He took a young man's life, and he must pay for it. And,
right.
You know, even if he is half white, people are not going to look at him and say, oh, he's half white. They're going to think of him as a Hispanic. So, you know, for him to even think that, oh, I'm so better than everybody, you're not better than everybody because you're a Hispanic. You're a minority. It doesn't matter if you're half white. You're still going to be thought of as a minority. And as another minority to another minority, you should understand how people are treated, being a minority in this world. So I don't understand that.
It's just the mindset, you know. He doesn't have the Hispanic last name. He has a
white
Zimmerman
last name. Yeah.
So he and that's why he even said the things that he said about Mexicans who are also Hispanic. Yeah. He's like, I'm better than you. You know, look, I'm looking down at you. I see you as thugs. I see you as people that's trying to rip off cars. You know, that's just the mindset that he has, which is false. It's a false way of thinking. You know, none of this, your color, just because, you know, that doesn't matter. It's what's in your heart. It's how you were brought up. It's how you really, really, truly think in your heart. Nothing else matters.
Right.
Really. So,
I agree. You know, it's like, you know, even the people that are supporting him, you know, you almost think about their background, you know, and their type of upbringing that they've had, that they think that this is absolutely okay.
Right. Exactly. And I really do believe, you know, I go on these other blogs and I hear they're saying things like Trayvon was a thug, Trayvon was doing this, Trayvon was doing that. Never mind the fact that over half of all American teens. It's more like 70% of American teens delve into some type of activity like drugs, drinking, underage drinking.
Unprotected sex, everything.
That's the rebellious age. So never mind that only 70% of all teenagers admit to this. They just see that he's a black kid, and they've been taught that black boys are thugs, period. Yeah. They're up to no good. They're no good. They're, so the supporters, they really believe that. There's nothing you can say. Logic, you could put logic. You could have a videotape with Zimmerman actually doing what he did, and they would still find a reason that, no, there's something else, And
another thing is, and another thing is, they keep saying, oh, he's 17, he's grown. First and foremost, let me tell you something. 17 years old is not grown. Until you're paying for your own stuff and you're living independent, you are not grown. He is still considered a child, a minor. And I wish people would really stop saying that. Even if he did have on a hoodie or whatever, it does not stop the fact that what George Zimmerman did was wrong. And George Zimmerman is 28 years old, and he should know better than that. So, they don't want to face the fact that George has done all this stuff. And go on the Internet, look up George Zimmerman. Look up all his stuff that he did. He hit women. He did drunken driving, which is worse, smoking a little weed or hitting on a woman, But they don't want to realize that. They don't want to come to a conclusion about that because they don't want to be proven wrong.
Right. Exactly.
So, even about, like you were saying, with his age. Okay, so this man, he's a grown man, and then they were even talking about his size. How
exactly.
He was almost the same weight as Trayvon. He had 45 days to lose that weight. I think the weight we're seeing now, that he is currently at, the weight is his real weight. Exactly.
I agree. I think so too, because he had 40 days to fast and try to become a weight size that would make Trayvon look like he was a stronger person than he was. But, if you look at George Zimmerman's upper body, that guy has a big upper body. I know that he was able to wrestle Trayvon down and do all the things that he did to him. I know that he was. He has a very, very big upper body. So there was no comparison. Trayvon had no chance against this monster.
Yeah.
No chance.
No. And when you're a grown man, you're strong. You're strong.
Of course.
When you're a grown man like that, pretty much Trayvon was still a kid. Yeah, he played a little football in high school or whatever, but a grown man attacking a younger man, you're more than likely going to be stronger than him.
No, there's no doubt about that.
He was faster than him, but I don't think Trayvon was stronger than Zimmerman.
There was no match for Trayvon. No match, because Trayvon, all in his mind, all he was thinking is, why is this guy following me? Whereas George Zimmerman was sitting in the car, and he could actually strategize on what he wanted to do. He had the gun. He had the upper hand in every single situation. He had the gun. He was in the car, which means he was protected. So he could sit in the car and just strategize on how am I going to get this kid. You know what I mean? Whereas all Trayvon could do was act in fear because he was fearful of the unknown. He had no idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa, you said that you wanted to talk about Elmira, the lawyer.
I call him Old Pony.
Elmira's face is very telling. If you look at the stress in this man's face, almost to the point of fear, of desperation and despair, of like, you know what? I really don't even know if I can honestly help this man. That's how he looks.
Right.
Because at this point, he's like, how am I going to find excuses for all of these lies? And the other day on the news, he pretty much threw Zimmerman under the bus. he threw George under the bus, but he said, yes, my client has a credibility issue, and we need to try to get him rehabilitated for that. We need to try to talk to the judge about that, because he's going to be looking for, I guess, some type of forgiveness from Lester.
Exactly. I totally agree. I mean, this man has no defense, and I think that this is the reason why he decided to put up a website so that he can try to strategize based on arguments that people that are against, because he needs to figure out how are people thinking. And then based on how are people thinking, based on the comments that he reads, how can I defend those comments when I'm in a court of law? So that's the whole reason for the Twitter and the Facebook account. But we're dealing with somebody that's just stupid. It's just a liar. He lives in fantasy land. So you can't even predict what he's going to say in any minute. It's he or his family. I mean, that family is liable to say anything at any moment, which will totally just mess up any strategy that his lawyer could even come up with. So
yeah, I agree. Mark O'Phony, like I like to call him, he definitely is not doing a very good job, and I'll give him a couple of months, and then he'll quit. He can't handle it. Sorry. He's just too stressed out. You can tell, like Lisa said, he's too stressed out. His face, look at his face. He can't handle it, And, even if he does continue to represent George Zimmerman, no one else would want to be associated with him because everybody knows that he has been representing a killer, a cold-blooded murderer. So
I totally agree with you.
That's all I have to say.
100%. I totally agree. And like you said, he's even losing weight. As skinny as he is right now, he's losing weight and he's losing sleep. I bet by the time that trial comes, he's not going to have a piece of hair on his head.
Exactly. I mean, I noticed that too, Paula. I'm glad that you stated that because he is not looking healthy. Like when we first seen him, when he came in, he was looking very strong and very, confident. And now he just looks like, woe is me, and I noticed the weight loss in Omar, too, and he did mention he's been getting some death threats as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably figuring that this is just not worth my life. And this man is an ever-changing chameleon of stories. Ever since they found out the stand your ground law didn't apply to Zimmerman, here his story starts to change, And how do you defend that? I mean, how do you keep covering up lies? And I don't think he's going to want to risk his career of 30 years that he's worked hard to attain, for one person that's lying and that has a credibility issue. And I think he's going to end up telling Zimmerman, you keep lying to me, I'm not going to be able to help you because you're lying. And I think he's going to end up telling them that.
I agree. And I also believe that he fell for the Zimmerman hype. He fell for it. He thought that Zimmerman was really this watch captain, whatever guy that was just trying to defend the community. But when he saw the evidence, because this guy, he looks at evidence at an even higher level, obviously at a higher level than we do because we're not in the field. So he looks at the evidence at a very high level. And he looked at the evidence and says, this guy is guilty as hell. And so now he's trying to slowly put it in the mind of the people that he has a credibility problem. I can't win this. It's because it's credible. So he's trying to throw things out there so people, because his degree is on the line too. He wants to win this case, but he can't. So now he has to try to figure out how can I lose this case and keep my credibility.
That could be a possibility. I was on this other website. It's another Facebook page, and, in search of justice for Trayvon as well. I won't say the name of it. But I had read something from a commenter on there, and I don't know where people get their information. It possibly more than likely could be a rumor, but it could be somebody who is working on this case as well because people have access to the Internet. It said that something about one of Trayvon's eyes were gouged out. Did anybody hear about this?
No.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that. It was a comment. Yeah, so
that would be sick. But I think that that's not true, because I think that the parents saw the body. They would have said that would have been out. That would have been day one news. You know, they would have said that day one, because that clearly shows some sick stuff. You know what I mean? If somebody did that, that would be really sick.
Yeah, I think that's just a rumor. News off of a bogus website, and then I try to take most of that with a grain of salt. But then you never know who's logging on and talking on this and could be working the case. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think that was the case at all. But I did hear there has been talk. I've been hearing this off and on, that there was a 911 call by Trayvon, that he actually did a 911 call, but they don't really talk too much about that. I wonder if that's evidence that's going to be sealed and that we won't hear about this until the trial, because I heard that.
What I'm saying. There's been a lot of stuff that's not been let loose because Omar feels that it's too shocking for us to hear. That's what made me bring up the eye-gouging comment. Did somebody have access to records and just happen to say something because it was bothering them, and they're on there anonymously, leaking this information. And there's a lot of stuff we don't know because he said it would be too shocking for us to hear, which leads me to believe, what else did you do? What else did you do that night to him, Zimmerman? What else was done that's too shocking to us?
I don't even want to know.
Well, that's what they... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, well, when he was first with the first bill, Mark had said that there's still some more evidence that the world has only seen 50% of the evidence. So I don't know if he's talking about what George Zimmerman has done, or I don't know if he's talking about what Trayvon has done, but he said that there's still more evidence coming. So I'm looking kind of forward to seeing that, especially if it's about George Zimmerman.
Me too. I totally would love to see what kind of evidence there could possibly be, because I'm already shocked as it is. I can't, in my mind, I can't be any more shocked. Just the fact that he shot him point blank in the heart, that's callous. I mean, that's like a total disregard, because if you shoot somebody in the heart, that person is going to die. You're not trying to disarm them. You're not trying to just get them away from you. You were trying to kill that young boy. Mm-hmm. You're looking at that black boy in the face that's begging and crying for his life, and you are shooting him point blank in the heart and letting this black boy know you're shooting him in the heart so that he could die. That, to me, that's just as cold as it gets. Yeah. It can't get any colder than me. So what other shocking news could there be? I mean, I've already made up my opinion about him. I've already made up my mind. The guy is the devil in disguise. He's the devil to me. He's the Antichrist. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing about it is, if he really wanted Trayvon to get away from him, how come he just didn't shoot like in the air? If anybody, if you shoot in the air, everybody and their mama is running. So like, if he really wanted Trayvon to get away from him, all he had to do was shoot in the air, and Trayvon would have took off. So I do agree that he was trying to kill you.
Yeah,
he wanted to have that hero complex. For God knows how long he had been building up those people's paranoia at Twin Lakes, building up their paranoia to the extent that he was knocking on their doors, telling them to be aware of young black men doing criminal behavior and activity in the neighborhood. Okay, so this was going to heroize him. He was going to become a hero at this point. George Zimmerman saves the day. That's how it was planned out in his sick mind.
I totally agree. Totally.
And he was going to be put on a pedestal and probably looked at by law enforcement, which look at the irony of that.
And you know what, back to what you said, Eric, when you said that if he wanted to just do a warning shot, he could have done that, because he obviously at this point he knew that Trayvon had a phone in one hand and he had a bottle of tea in the other hand. So he didn't have a gun. he was close enough to see that he didn't have a gun. So
Right.
so he didn't have to shoot this young boy to kill him. He could have just fired a warning shot. So to me, it's nothing but cold-blooded murder right there. We're going to break now. I'm gonna give Eric. Eric, you said that you wanted to talk about something real quick, and then we have 5 minutes before the group comes. We start getting the calls from our listeners. So what was the topic you wanted to talk about? I think you said you wanted to talk about.
Was it about the Shellie Zimmerman?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk about right quick. Shellie Zimmerman, I feel like she should be convicted of perjury because she lied under oath about the money. When they were going to that bail hearing, and they asked her, did you know about the PayPal account? And she said no. She said yes. And then they was like, do you know how much money was in the PayPal account? And she said no. That was a straight-up lie because secretly, from the supporters of George Zimmerman, they had $135,000. So she technically lied under oath. So I am starting a petition on change.org to get Shellie Zimmerman in jail as well as George. But he's already in there, so we're working on her. And
I agree. Yeah. Amen on that. I think that she clearly lied. And,
so I believe she's helping him lie as well.
Yeah.
So she's guilty, and we want her in jail.
We do. And the fact is, the lawyer said that they knew that they had misrepresented themselves in terms of the finances, but they were afraid. They had a lot of money, and they didn't know what the future was, so they wanted to hold on to the money. Well, I'd like to hold on to that money too, but I'm not going to lie in court.
Right.
You know?
So she pissed off the judge, so that's probably why his bond hearing is so late into June. They don't want to piss him off.
I'm going to turn on some music, and then I'm going to get us ready for some of the callers. I see we have a caller on the line, so we'll put on some music, and then we'll get us ready for talking to the callers.
Right, that's great.
Sit down. Making too much noise.
Okay, so we're on Like It Is now with LCO and Eric and PJ, and we're going to open it up for you guys to voice your opinion about the Trayvon Martin case. We've been talking about several topics. We talked about George Zimmerman gaining weight, sitting back, and just eating. We've also talked about his lawyer, how, he's looking like he can't win this case right now. And we've talked about Shellie Zimmerman, how she perjured herself on the air. So we're going to open it up for you guys. And who's our first caller is, hold on, let me see who this is. Hello. I have a caller on the 1190 line. Who's on the line? Hello?
Yes, hello. Good evening to all of you. My name is Sharif, calling from New York. I also founded the Facebook page Arrest George Zimmerman Now a few months back in the wake of the terrible murder. No accident about it, straight up murder. But just wanted to echo on the young man's point about Shellie Zimmerman. Florida's become the mockery of the judicial system in so many instances, and as I'm sure you all recall, even the election 10 years back or so. So it's like they're separated from the rest of the country. I mean, I hate to be so stereotypical or vicious, but Casey Anthony's mother was enough, but at least you could kind of give her the pass because she's in mourning about a baby that died, and then this is her daughter who's, in all likelihood, murdered that baby. But just to stand before a judge, if it was me or anyone who looked like me, and I said I was broke, yet I had nearly $150,000 in a PayPal account, which is for the express purpose for legal defenses, then I would be put under the jail. And another thing I would like to know, which I haven't heard anyone in the media specifically address or answer, is how in the hell did Mr. Zimmerman get a gun license with all the medications that he's been on for reportedly extended period of time? You know, we're not talking about over-the-counter stuff like Tylenol or something like that. I mean, he suffers from hypertension deficit disorder, a couple of other things that he takes, and at least here in New York, if you're going to apply for a gun license, they're extremely strict, extremely diligent about your entire background, and medications is a big part of that. So it's so asinine with everything that's going down there, and sadly, I kind of suspect the reason why the judge decided to have his new bond hearing on the 29th is to maybe just let him sit and stew for a few weeks, and he may get granted bond again, which, of course, I hope he doesn't. But
I hope not.
But, you know, because it's so late, I believe he might think that might be punishment enough for the lie. I hope I'm wrong, but the way that this whole case been going, and in some segments, not everyone certainly, because not everyone's been lulled to sleep or swayed by the propaganda and this concerted effort to demonize Trayvon and somehow paint Mr. Zimmerman as the victim, someone who pursued this young man, got out of his car. He felt emboldened to do so because he had a gun on him. Trust and believe if he didn't have a weapon on him, he would have not got out of that car. He would have stayed on the phone with the police the whole time if he thought Trayvon was so suspicious. This kid wasn't pacing places. He wasn't messing with anyone's automobiles. He wasn't destroying any property. He wasn't even smoking a cigarette, for that matter, or certainly, you know, nothing illegal or anything like that. So if nothing else, this is a classic case of profiling by a wannabe cop who, at 28 years old, was mentally unfit.
Let me jump in for a minute, because I wanted to answer one of your questions that you had asked about how was George Zimmerman able to obtain that weapon. Now, he had an expungement done to his record, which makes his record pretty much non-existent. Now, if the court still wants to get it, or law enforcement, they can still obtain those records. But once you get that expunged, it's no longer accessible for public access, and he was able to go in and get the clearance for that gun. For those prescription medications, there's obviously some type of mental illness there. It can be as simple as depression, where you can get a Ativan prescribed or something like that. So that's the deal with that there.
Now, I also want to talk about the drug. I forgot how it's pronounced, but he took a drug. It's not a prescription medication. He took a drug, and it was hours before he had killed Trayvon Martin. And I actually looked up the side effects, and it causes paranoia, aggressiveness, I believe depression, and some other stuff. So I just think that his mind frame and also the drug mixed in is ultimately probably what killed Trayvon Martin. That's just my thing. That's just my thing.
I believe that also, and I think that the drug that he took, I think it's adrenaline or something. I'm not sure. I should have looked it up before. It has to do with he has a drug that deals with anxiety,
right,
and also a drug that deals with attention deficit syndrome, which means that he was he needed drugs to calm him down. But it looked like he had a drug that calmed him down because he had anxiety, and then he had he's a mess. There's just no way to analyze this guy. He's just a mess. He attention deficit syndrome, but and people with this disorder, they do grow up to be responsible individuals. But if you have this disorder and also have shown violent tendencies based on his past experiences with his former fiancé and also with the police officers, and also on a job that he had as a bouncer.
Exactly.
Why make him the neighborhood watch captain? And he should have been more responsible to know that he wasn't really fit to be in this position. We have another caller on the line from the 4091. Hello? Hello, caller. Hello, caller with 4091. Okay, what about caller 4525? Are you there? Hold on, let me put you in.
Yes.
Hi, caller 4525. Who am I speaking to?
Kim.
Hi, Kim. How are you tonight? What did you want to say about this case?
Well, I'm glad that a lot of people spoke out against it, and just that I hope justice is served.
We totally agree. I'm hoping. It looks good on our end, but, you know, there's a lot of supporters of George Zimmerman who feels that it's looking good on his end, too. So we're at the mercy of the judge and whoever they select on the jury pool. We're just hoping the evidence that we haven't seen, it seems like the evidence that we have seen is compelling enough that, you know, George Zimmerman should be convicted of second-degree murder, but it's hard. It's a hard one. What do you think, Lisa and Eric?
I think if everybody can just going to be having their hands on this, I think if they can read through the BS that's been fed into the media system and everything else, and look at the truth and look at the facts, they will indeed see, because I'm no legal analysis, okay, but I can see plain as day that Trayvon Martin was standing his ground. Okay? We do teach our children stranger danger. Okay?
Correct.
And he had a right to stand his ground against somebody he did not know. And I've argued with a lot of trolls that have said, you know, oh, if somebody's following you, it's not illegal. No, to follow someone is not illegal. But once it becomes unwanted, then it becomes stalking, and that is illegal.
Right. And I totally agree, Lessa. You know, he was definitely standing his ground, and you know, like you said again, it is not illegal to follow someone, but once a person is in fear and they feel like they might be technically threatened or they might be, you know, in harm, then that's when it becomes stalking, and that is illegal. And what George Zimmerman did was illegal. And I'm glad that he's in jail, and I'm glad that the evidence is coming out. I just pray every night that, you know, we get justice is served, but, you know, we never know. It might make a 180, and he might not, you know. But I'm definitely staying positive, and I'm definitely praying that justice is definitely served.
Okay, we have somebody from a 304 area code with the 7689 extension. Who am I talking to?
My name is LaRon.
Hi, LaRon. How you doing? What do you have to say tonight about this case?
I just have to say that, you know what I'm saying, like wearing the hoodie, since when did that come suspicious? You know what I'm saying? That young man had the right to do whatever he wanted to do, you know, when and however. You know, his mom and dad lived in the neighborhood or what. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for him to, you know, profile a young man is just, you know, say that, you know, I listened to the 911 call, and he said, you know, he looked like he up to something. I mean, he looked like he up to something because, you know, he got a hoodie over his head, and, you know, he's young and he's black. That, you know, some people say it's not about racism, but, you know what I'm saying, I have a different opinion on that, but I ain't going to get into all that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that, you know, I just hope that, you know, they do the right thing and, you know what I'm saying, and put him behind bars of where he belongs. You know, I feel like that, you know, he had a license for a pistol and, you know, he was, you know, really wanting to do something with his gun. You know what I'm saying? Because when I listened to the call, it said these coons always get away with what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you listen to the call, you know, it clearly shows that, you know, he was showing racism within himself. You know, they always get away with things. Who is they? You know, in my opinion, I'm assuming he's talking about African-Americans, but, you know, where there's dark comes light.
That's exactly who he was talking about. He called 46 times on black men in that neighborhood. That's exactly what he meant. African-Americans, you're right about that.
And I also want to elaborate that. Since when did black men get away with crime? You know, majority of black men that do crime get put back in jail. So I don't know what he's talking about. You know, they always get away. If anything, you know, it should be other races. So I don't know where he's getting his information from. And, you know, like Lessa said, you know, he called the 911 46 times. You know, don't nobody need to call 911 unless you bleeding, dying, or in real emergency pain. So, you know, he's just psycho. He crazy. Something wrong with him.
I mean, another thing is, you know, if the lady clearly tell you, you know, we don't need you to do that, meaning we don't need you to follow him, you know, why would you disrespect the law like that?
I agree,
right.
And I totally agree. I mean, people are saying, oh, well, you know, they just suggested that we don't need you to do that. Doesn't mean that that's an order that you don't follow. A professional tells you we don't need you to do that. That means basically back off. We don't need you to do that. We're the experts. We can handle it. So back off. So, you know, he just didn't have any respect for authority. I have a caller from 248 with the 40191 extension. How are you today? What's your name? 4091. What's your name? Okay, we're going to go to extension 9656. Are you there? You're from a 210 area code. Hello? Don't be shy. We're waiting to hear from you. Hello? Okay. So, hello. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say tonight from the 214 area code?
Yes, my name, excuse my voice, I have a tracheotomy but I am able to speak as much as possible.
Okay.
I'd first like to say that I applaud everyone's effort to bring justice for the Martin family. As indicated, yes, George Zimmerman showed signs of attention deficit disorder, but let's go back in time. Let's go back to when they killed Emmett Till, or Emmett Till was murdered, viciously murdered, because a white woman stated that he wolf whistled at her. Her husband and his friends maliciously beat this man, threw him the water, and his mother replied that she wanted to leave his casket open so that she could show the world what these people had did to her child. With that being said, as far as George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, regardless to what the media says, regardless to what the police or law enforcement says, this was none more than an act of racism. George Zimmerman took the law into his hand, but one thing's for positive, two things for sure. If you know anything about God in heaven, God sits high and he looks low. So if the justice system does not make Mr. Zimmerman pay, trust and believe God will.
Thank you. I totally agree with that, and we appreciate you bringing up the Emmett Till comparison to this case, because for that to happen back then, and we have a black president, and the stuff is still happening today, shows you that racism is alive and well in this country.
That's right. And you know what? I'm 52 years old. My mom is 72, and regardless of what anyone says or anyone tries to persuade us to believe, racism will never go away when it comes down to African Americans. And you know, we as a whole our race as a whole. We need to stop turning our backs on one another and stand aground, like the Hispanics get together and join forces. We need to do the same because you know what? Whether we realize it or not, sagging pants, head rags, whatever, if you put the African-American race together, you've got the baddest race on this earth.
I totally agree. What's your name?
My name is Audrey Reeves.
Marjorie, I hope that you join us again next week because your commentary was very, very nice. We have somebody from the 609 area code that just came in, 609-1241. Hi, how are you? Hello, 609?
609 is Jersey, right?
Yeah, 609, that's you. That would be you. How are you? We're having a hard time hearing you. Are you on speaker? Hello? Okay, so we had to drop that call because it was very hard to hear. Call back because we're not able to hear you. So basically we're going to turn the calls down, get rid of the calls.
Hey, Mama. I'll call you right back.
Okay, so
I am so sorry. I was continuing to listen, but I had to answer another line.
Okay, that's okay. We appreciate your coming on the line with us, and we appreciate all of the callers that came in to voice their opinion about this case. The emotions are running very, very high, and people just want to be able to speak what's on their mind. It's easy to get on Facebook and Twitter and write a comment and say what you're feeling, but a lot of times you just got to get it out of your system. Talk to people that really are caring and feeling the same type of emotional adrenaline that you're feeling. So we really definitely appreciate you coming on and voicing your opinion about that.
Might I say one more thing? I am just a talker. But I just want to just put some emphasis on something. I live in Dallas, Texas. I am a criminal justice major. I was writing a thesis for my class today, and I had expressed my interest in working with the Innocence Project. And the sole purpose of my wanting to work for this project is because in 2008 there was a guy's name was Timothy Cole. He was 36 years old. He had served 13 years behind prison bars. He was a United States Army veteran for the alleged rape, again, of a white woman. He professed his innocence from day one. In 2008, Mr. Cole had an asthma attack, which caused a heart condition, and he died in prison.
Yes, I do remember hearing about that story. And he was I forgot what they call it when you are found innocent after you've died.
No, they did. Do you know when they exonerated him? They just exonerated him April of this year.
Right, I just read about that. I read that they had exonerated him recently after he had died and spent all that time in jail. And this is happening all too often within the African-American community.
If we would stop and pay attention and stop going to these polls and electing these people in just because they say they're going to do something, if we can get on the internet and research what our boyfriends or our girlfriends are doing, we can darn sure do research what these politics are doing or have been doing.
I totally agree. We have a caller from the 989 area, 0518. I'm gonna bring her in. We're running out of time, but if you're from that 989 area, 0518, and you want to say something, feel free to voice your opinion right now. Hello?
Yes, how you doing?
How are you? Who am I talking to?
I'm talking to Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine. Now, is the floor open for any topic now?
Well, actually, we just want to stick with the justice for Trayvon Martin. So, I mean, you can talk about anything as long as it's...
I wanted to talk about a certain topic that just really disgusted me. And I read about it in the news. It's this new thing where these kids are doing something called Trayvoning.
Right.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and explain that to the audience, what Trayvoning is.
Well, basically, if you've heard of planking, then it's something similar to where they think it's a goofy picture. But basically, these kids are putting on hoodies, getting iced tea and Skittles, and taking pictures of themselves as if they were dead. And that's just something that's really been upsetting me lately. I think we need to start something on Facebook that bans this page because it's just really disrespectful when it comes down to it.
You know what? If you started a change.org petition, I will tell you, I will be the first one to sign it.
And if you
start that petition, I will definitely sign that because I totally agree that should be banned.
Yeah.
And especially if people are actually taking pictures of it and putting it on Facebook.
Yeah, because I've noticed. I stopped by there, and the first thing I said is this is disgusting. You know, you guys should definitely be banned for this. I don't know what kind of humor any person would get out of that. And it's not just, it's just the numerous amount of pictures I've seen that just really disgusted me. So I just had to get that off my mind. It's been really bothering me since I've seen it. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you for calling. I really appreciate your time as well. Okay, so we're gonna come. We're coming to the tail end of the program, and we really appreciate all of the callers that called in today, and even the ones that had called in but they didn't get a chance to talk because they, for whatever reason, they felt that they didn't want to talk today. We totally welcome anybody that calls in to talk to us because we want to hear from you guys. You guys are pretty much our inspiration. You write on the Facebook wall, the Arrest George Zimmerman wall. You write on our various other walls. You submit your own comments and links, and we totally appreciate all of it. And you're the inspiration. I look forward to going to the Arrest George Zimmerman page every day and reading what you guys have to say. And you guys, we got some feisty people that have liked the Arrest George Zimmerman page. You guys are feisty. I can name some people. You guys, I got to tell you, you guys keep me rolling, and I just want to say that we appreciate you very much. Hello?
Hello?
Eric, did you want to say something?
Yes, I would like to talk about my Keep Striving Foundation just a little bit. I recently started a Facebook page on Facebook, and it's called Keep Striving, and basically what I'm trying to do is create a foundation for young boys of all ethnicities starting from age 13 from 18, and it will help create scholarships, college scholarships and college funds for young men for drama and art and literature. And if you guys can just check that out on my Facebook page, that would be great. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. And that page, tell the audience what that page is again.
It's www.facebook.com/keepstriving. And I also have some petitions called on change.org called Arrest Shellie Zimmerman to help us charge her with perjury. And I also have another petition on change.com called Stop the Stand Your Ground Law. So check that out, sign that, share that, like it, all that good stuff. Thank you. Good.
And this our program is being brought to you by Rise, Rejoicing in Spiritual Evidence, which is a book by P.J. Coble. You can get that book on BarnesandNobles.com or Amazon.com. It's an inspirational book, and I'm sure that you would totally enjoy reading it. And also, we're being sponsored by Coble and Associates. It's your one-stop shop for all your financial needs. You can reach them at 732-763-8013. They handle such things as life insurance, property and casualty insurance. They do financial planning. So those are our sponsors. So we hope that you will definitely call that number, 732-763-8013, and look at the website. Their website is mcc-inc.net. And please continue to follow us on Facebook. We have the Like It Is Now webpage, Facebook page, and we have a Like It Is Now webpage, which is where you can find interesting articles that expand on some of the things that we talk about on our Arrest George Zimmerman page, as well as our Like It Is Now page. And that webpage is www.weebly.likeItisnow.com. So we always put that link up on our Like It Is page and our Arrest George Zimmerman page. And so we hope that you will definitely follow us on Twitter as well, and continue to call in. We'll be doing this program weekly, every week, and we will hopefully be getting some interesting topics from you guys. So if you have any topics that you want to talk about, just send us a message, an inbox direct message, and then we'll put that on the agenda for the weeks to come. So as we said, we totally appreciate your listening to our Like It Is program, and we totally appreciate you following us on Arrest George Zimmerman, Convict George Zimmerman, Keep It Striving,
Stop Killing Our Black Men page. We
love it. We love you guys. So in closing, did you want to say something, Eric?
No. Well, I would just say thank you for all your love and support. I'm really glad to be a part of this. Thank you so much, PJ, for making me a part of this. I just want to say thank you for your support on the Keep Striving page. It really does make me happy. Also on the Convict George Zimmerman page that I operate, there's definitely some feisty people on there too. Thanks for your support, and just thank you for your signatures on change.org. Just thank you. I appreciate it.
Great. So we're going to hear from Lisa. I'm going to call her up right now real quick. But as I said, we're coming to the tail end of the program, and all of you guys that called in today, all of it was very interesting. You brought up some very interesting points, and we just got to say thank you, and we will be here again next week, same time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, and 8 o'clock Mountain Time. So thank you, and have a great evening. Lisa, you're on the air? Lisa?